The week-long activities put together to mark the inauguration of Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, CON, as the Executive Governor of Rivers State, began with a dedication church service which took place in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital. In attendance at the service were Rivers State Governor Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, his wife Justice Suzette Nyesom Wike, and children. The Deputy Governor, Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Harry Banigo, former Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Peter Odili, and his wife, Justice of the Supreme Court, Mary Odili, and acting National Chairman of the PDP, Prince Uche Secondos, and wife. The Right Honorable Austin Opara OFR, his wife, Justice Opara, Rivers State immediate past Deputy Governor, Engineer Tele Kuru, former Minister of Transport, Dr. Abiye Sekibo, Rivers State traditional institution from the 3 senatorial districts of the state, also attended the church service. The service formally began with a processional hymn as the choir and congregation sang along. The first lesson of the service was taken by Governor Nyesom Wike, CON, from the book of John chapter 2 from verses 21 to the end. The Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Harry Banigo, read the second lesson from Romans chapter 8. The sermon was preached by Apostle Zili Agri, the General Overseer of the Royal House of Grace Port Harcourt and Chairman Christian Association of Nigeria CAN, Rivers State chapter. The man of God said that with seaports, refineries that attract a deluge of multinationals as investors to Rivers State, the state should not have any business with poverty. He therefore urged Governor Nyesom Wike to take the opportunity of this rare chance divinely presented to him to make the difference in the lives of Rivers State people, like the oppressed widows. Apostle Zili Agri appealed to Rivers State people to support the new government.
Will succeed by the single support every one of us will give to him. May you not be the one whose name will be recorded as those who help leaders to fail. May we all in unity make this man succeed. There are poor people in Rivers State, as rich as we are. 2 seaports from Onne to MP, international airport, 2 refineries, all kinds of multinational companies and oil industry. The people of this state have no business with poverty. As you come on board, in all your activities, let your programs and projects remember the poor.
The church presented Bible, the Word of Life, to Governor Nyesom Wike and the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Ipalebo Banigo. There were special prayers for the first and second families of Rivers State by the clergy. Governor Nyesom Wike thanked God for this special day and asked the people of Rivers State to continue to remember him in their prayers so that he will successfully navigate the governance of Rivers State. The Thanksgiving session followed next as people rejoiced through dancing and singing. The vote of thanks was given by the Right Honorable Austin Opara OFR, who is the chairman of the Inauguration Committee. There was also the Inauguration Public Lecture on the theme, Democracy and Good Governance Towards a New Rivers State. The lecture, which was an avenue for cross-fertilization of ideas, with a view to setting the right template for the governance of Rivers State for Governor Nyesom Wike, was chaired by Chief O.C.J. Okocha, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, a legal luminary of note and one of the highly respected leaders of Rivers State. Former Governor Peter Odili of Rivers State, Chief Ferdinand Alabraba, and Sir Celestino Mehia led other prominent sons and daughters of the soil, including traditional rulers, who gathered to give Governor Nyesom Wike the much-needed support. In his opening remarks, the chairman of the lecture, Chief O.C.J. Okocha, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, said Governor Nyesom Wike must be prepared to respect the rule of law and the Constitution and avoid the temptation to encroach on the roles of the legislature and the judiciary but ensure that his government impacts on the lives of the citizenry through provision of basic needs.
And any government which wants to govern well for the benefit of the peoples of Nigeria, and indeed, for one special purpose, the benefit of the peoples of Rivers State, must observe the provisions of Chapter 2, the fundamental objectives of state policy enunciated therein, and also maintain and enforce the rule of law, and ensure that fundamental rights are always observed.
A panel of discussants, which had Professor Emma Ibe from the United States of America, Professor Mrs. Rosalind Konya, Barrister Chinwo, and Dr. Tam George, also volunteered very rich contributions to the lecture, which was all about setting the right agenda for governance as Governor Nyesom Wike settles down to begin the work as the chief pilot at the Brick House, Port Harcourt, for the next 4 years. Former Governor Peter Odili of Rivers State said, with the rich pedigree and robust antecedent Governor Nyesom Wike brings to the governance of Rivers State as a two-time local government chairman, former chief of staff, federal minister, and degrees in multiple disciplines, Barrister Nyesom Wike and his deputy, Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Harry Banigo's tenure will certainly be a new dawn for Rivers people.
We'll go to our governor and his deputy and the team that will work with them. Rivers people, including those who did not have the courage to congratulate him yet, and urge all Rivers men and women to give complete support to this wonderful team.
In his own remarks, Governor Nyesom Wike thanked all those who had given him the treasured pieces of advice to move Rivers State forward, promising not to let Rivers State people down. As part of the inauguration of Governor Nyesom Wike as governor of Rivers State, a novelty football match which featured ex-international Kanu Nwankwo, Adokia Mesiemaka, Sir Celestino Mehia, Senator Lee Maeba, Kelechi Wogo, Honorable Austin Opara, and others, against the Rivers Angels Football Club of Port Harcourt has taken place at the Sharks Football Club Stadium. The very interesting match, which ended in 2-0 in favor of the News Rivers team, with goals scored by Kelechi Wogo and Honorable Austin Opara, featured presentation of 3 trophies to deserving personalities. Former Governor of Rivers State, Sir Celestino Mehia, presented a trophy to former international Adokia Mesiemaka. Rivers State Deputy Governor, Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Harry Banigo, presented a trophy to the captain of Rivers Angels Football Club in Port Harcourt. The Amayanabe of Boni Kingdom made a special presentation to Adokia Mesiemaka as the grand patron of ex-professional footballers. Governor Nyesom Wike was presented with a grand trophy as patron of New Rivers team. This is surely an indication that Governor Nyesom Wike's administration will give a huge support to sports. At the variety night which took place at the Polo Club ground in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, comedy, cultural performance, and a concert-filled atmosphere enveloped the air, with music stars like Burna Boy, Duncan Mighty, and others dishing out the best from their musical armory.
Do you know that God is God and God can never be a man? No. Do you know that thing is so now the same thing where you go in when they last one day? Some go come do like saying and them love you. When you try give them chance, them go kill you. I remember when my mother be they suffer from bleeding for 18.
The carnival atmosphere ensued, the young and the old taking turns to gyrate to the rhythm, all celebrating the new lease of life in Rivers State. Liberation Stadium, Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, was filled to the brim with men and women dressed in their brightest colors, who enthusiastically looked forward to the commencement of the grand inauguration of Governor Nyesom Wike as the executive governor of Rivers State. As Nigerians basked in the euphoria of the celebration of 16 years of unbroken multi-party democracy system. From the state box that registered an impressive array of prominent sons and daughters of Rivers State and friends of the state, to different stands of the Liberation Stadium, there was dancing, jubilation, and singing by Rivers State people as they usher in a new dawn of fresh hopes and new beginning for the oil-rich state that contributes significantly to the economy of Nigeria. From the traditional institution, the Amayanaba of Opobo, Boni, and Abonima led the rich lineup of monarchs from Rivers State and the Niger Delta region, while those who call the shots in the different spheres of life in Rivers State came out in their numbers to support the latest occupant of the brick house, Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, Commander of the Order of the Niger, who is mounting the saddle of leadership of Rivers State with a lot of promise, giving his enormous goodwill and wide connection at the right places. The inauguration formalities began in earnest with the arrival of Governor Nyesom Wike, who quickly inspected a guard of honor mounted by a detachment of the Nigeria Police. The opening prayer was followed by the singing of the victory song. This was done by all Rivers State people, who stood on their feet. From then on, the program was executed swiftly with military procession, with the swearing in of Rivers State Deputy Governor Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Harry Banigo. The oath of office and oath of allegiance was administered on her by the Chief Judge of Bayelsa State, Justice Keta Biri, CON. She began by explaining that in view of the peculiar circumstance in Rivers State, she was mandated by the Chief Justice of the Federation, Justice Mahmoud Mohammed GCON, to carry out the constitutional function. Justice Keta Biri, CON, who was born in 1958, obtained her law degree from the University of Jos in 1983. She began her law practice as a state counsel in the Rivers State Ministry of Justice in 1985. Justice Keta Biri, CON, was the first female to be elected to the position of High Court Judge in Rivers State, and that was in 1997. The Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Harry Banigo, who had served as the Commissioner, Head of Service, and Secretary to the Rivers State Government, is the first woman to occupy the most exalted office of the Deputy Governor of Rivers State. Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike, CON, accompanied by his wife, Justice Suzette Nyesom Wike, and their children, took their turn on the dais as the Chief Judge of Bayelsa State. Justice Keta Biri, CON, administered the oath of office and the oath of allegiance on Governor Wike.
I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
to
the Federal Republic of Nigeria,
and
that I will preserve,
protect,
and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria
the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria
for the due discharge of my duties as governor, and that I will devote myself to the service and well-being of the people of Nigeria. So help me God.
In his inaugural address, after formally assuming political leadership of Rivers State, with constitutional endorsement by the Chief Judge of Bayelsa State, Justice Kate Abe CON, Governor Wike enunciated his broad plans for the new Rivers vision. These include enhancing agricultural production, provision of qualitative health care, more opportunities for education, employment, infrastructural development, and a general improvement in the living conditions of economically disadvantaged people of Rivers. Already, Governor Nyesom Wike has hit the ground running by ordering the reopening of the courts and the House of Assembly in Rivers State.
Let me, on behalf of the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency, Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Harry Banigo, express our deep appreciation to you all for bestowing this great honor and responsibility on us. Rivers State has been rescued and reclaimed. It is a new day in our history, a new dawn to repair and restore our dear state to the path of sanity. I invite you all to the table of brotherhood for the new beginning.
To round up the inauguration proceedings, Chief Barrister Nyesom Wike took a lap of honor on a Land Rover around the stadium as they acknowledged cheers from the very huge crowd. The heavily packed but extremely entertaining one-week-long activities marking the inauguration of the new government in Rivers State ended with a state luncheon at the Polo Club grounds. This featured performance by Flavor and other acts.